guys, let's begin to read and unpack the book of Revelations a little bit better together. The Old Testament, the first part of the Old Testament Christian Bible was the Hebrew Scriptures. For the Jews, it is the complete Bible, sometimes called the Tanakh, for 3 parts, meaning it had the Torah or the law. It also had the Nebilim or the prophets, which was the second part. It also had the Ketubim, or the writings, which were the letters, or like the epistles. So it tells the history. Well, not that was the old part of the Testament. So it tells the history of the nations of Israel and God's dealings with them to the return from exile in Babylon. Christians see its completement in the New Testament, which revealed Jesus Christ as the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy. Now, the writers of the Bible with Old Testament, they include it, if one includes indirect or partial quotations, the number jumps to more than 1,000 quotations in the Old Testament that you can see in the New Testament. It is clear that the writing of the New Testament the writers were concerned with demonstrating the continuity between the Old Testament scriptures and the faith they proclaimed. They were convinced that in Jesus the Old Testament promises had been fulfilled when Jesus came on the scene. So they wanted to make sure that the people who read it understood that it flowed from old to new, everything that was happening in the Old and New Testament. So now we want to begin to unpack the book of Revelations. So we're going to take a look at Mount of Olives, which is the mountain where the Lord gave a speech called the Beatitudes. So I'm going to show you the picture here, and I'm going to read you what it says here. This is what they're showing here in my little dictionary. It shows an olive grove of olive trees there now. It's nothing there but a bunch of olive trees. But apparently, it says the mountain ridge is 2.5 miles long that towers over the eastern side of Jerusalem, more precisely the middle of the 3 peaks forming the ridge. And then it says it forms a ridge out in a north-south direction, like a spur. You see that? It looks like a spur. See how it looks like a spur coming out? Mount of Olives. And it says it forms a spur like from the range of the mountains running down the center of the region. Both the central Mount of Olives and Mount Scopus, the peak of its northern side, rise more than 200 feet above the Temple Mount across the Kidron Valley. It provided a lookout base and signaling point for armies defending Jerusalem. David crossed the Mount of Olives when fleeing Absalom in 2 Samuel 15 and 30. Ezekiel saw the cherubim chariot land there in Ezekiel 11:22 through 23. Zechariah described how the Mount of Olives would move to form a huge valley on the day of the Lord. Zechariah 14:3 through 5. Many crucial events in Jesus' life occurred on the Mount of Olives. Take a look at Matthew 26 and 30, Mark 11:1 through 2, also Luke 4 and 5, and then Luke 22 and 39 through 46, and Acts 1:9 through 12. These are occurrences of what happened to Jesus on the Mount of Olives. So, I'm sorry about that noise. Now, the Olivet discourse was Jesus' major sermon, and he preached it on the Mount of Olives. He gave instructions concerning the end of the age and destruction of Jerusalem. This discourse is in Matthew 24 through 25, also in Mark 13. It is part an apocalypse because it uses symbolic, visionary language and makes it a difficult passage to understand. Parts of it appear scattered throughout Luke 12 through 21. I'm going to get my Bible here. I'm going to read to you Jesus, what he talked about. He was on the Mount of Olives. His sermon in Matthew, I don't know, I think this was his first sermon. I don't know, he was with the disciples. He had gathered up and he had gained all the disciples that were following him to become behind him. Discipleship, right? He was teaching them what to do. So, I'm going to start with this. This is what he said. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and he taught them, saying, Blessed are the pure in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. He says, peacefulness you have. If you are poor in spirit, I am with you. Blessed are they that mourn. He said, if you are in mourning, I am with you. Blessed are the meek. If you are meek, you shall inherit the earth, because I am with you. Blessed are they which do hunger and are thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. He said, you have peace, I am with you. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. He said, you are in peace and you have mercy, for I am with you. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. I am with you. If you are pure in heart, you have my peace. Blessed are the peacemaker, for they shall be called the children of God. If you come to bring peace, I am with you. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. When someone persecutes you or treats you wrongly for no apparent reason, for my peace is with you, you are blessed. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? Ye are the beauty of the world. If you have no beauty, no love, how will you get it? How will you gain it? How will you get it? what will happen to you? It also says, if a person has no salt, they will just be trampled down and trodden over. It is thenceforth good for nothing but to cast it out under the foot. It is good for nothing. If this person has no savor about himself, it is good for nothing. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and giveth it light unto all that are in the house. The Lord said, for with me, having me in your heart, peace, then I make you the light of the world. And therefore do not hide what I have inside of you. It is to be shown to the world. The light is to be reflected to draw others near. Okay? Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. When your light shine, it is him, and it is glorification for him in heaven. Think not that I am come to destroy the law of the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, not one jot or one tittle shall no wise of this law, till all of this is fulfilled. Whatsoever therefore ye shall break one of these least commandments, or teach someone to break these commandments, you shall be least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever shall do and teach these shall be the same shall call great in the kingdom of heaven. And here he go. These are what the laws were. It says, for I say unto you that except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you in no way will enter the kingdom of heaven. What he's saying is you have no righteousness without him who speaketh these words. Ye have heard that it was said of old time, thou shalt not kill. And I say that you are in danger of the judgment. It says, but I say that whosoever is angry in his heart without cause is in danger of the judgment. Whosoever shall say to thy brother, Rakai, shall be in danger also of the council. Call your brother stupid or dumb. You are in danger of the judgment. Whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hell's fire. Call a person a fool, you're in danger of fire. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and thou remember that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way to reconcile to thy brother, and then come back to the altar and offer your gift. If you go to the church to give sacrifice or to pay your pledge on Sunday, don't give no sacrifice. Don't put no money in the plate. Don't go up there praying like you in good standing, because God say you have someone unforgiven in your heart. He will not accept you with unforgiveness in your heart against another person. Pray about it in church and go and ask him to forgive you when you get out of church. But ask the Lord to have mercy on you if you have some anger in your heart against someone. Okay? Agree. Don't put on a fake pretense when you go to church. Put on a fake pretense saying everything is all good, but actually you're angry at someone, or you have you feel like they have trespassed against you, or they have done something against your spirit or your emotions, and you're upset with that person. You got to get it right before you show up at the house of the Lord trying to pretend like you can seek forgiveness for that thing. Go and make amends with your brother. Okay? It says, leave thy gift and go be reconciled to the person you're angry with. Agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at that time he deliver you up to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be casted into prison. If you do some wrong in the streets against someone, make amends on the spot. because they may take it further to call the police and have you arrested, basically. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. So if you go to jail, you're not coming out till you pay every penny. And then it says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, that thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, with lustful in his mind, with a terrible thought toward her in his mind, terrible thoughts, this person has already committed adultery in his heart. What the mind thinks and does, the heart has already done it. So, but I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, have already committed adultery in his heart. You see how I went over that twice? And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. And if it is profitable for thee, for the members to perish, then the whole body to cast in the lake of fire and hell. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. But it's profitable for thee to leave with one member, let one member perish, and not thy whole body be cast into hell. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a raiment of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committed adultery. You can't just leave and walk away from your family and your wife for no reason. When you marry, it's supposed to be a lifetime commitment, so you have to find a way to get amends going. You can't just spry up and decide to go out and cheat, because now when you come back to your wife, it makes her commit adultery because you already married to her first. That's if she goes back and sleep with you. She may decide no, because she may already have in her spirit that God told her, don't do it. So she say no. But I don't know. I can't get in the midst of that. But the Lord said, once somebody is messed up, somebody has to come before God together. If not, you got to give an account for that at the day of judgment, because this right here is a big command. You cannot commit adultery. You cannot go outside the marriage and fornicate and come back to your wife, because it causes her to commit adultery, especially if she don't know. All right. Next, it has been said. Okay, I did that, the wife part. Again, ye have heard that whoso did that. Again, ye have heard it had been said of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself. Do not offer yourself up for something and you're not sure about it. That's like telling a lie. So you're not supposed to do that. Okay, let your yes be yes and your no be no of your communication, basically. And then he goes on to say, ye have heard it said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil. It says, but whoever shall smite thee on a cheek, turn to the other cheek also. And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whatsoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that will borrow of thee, turn not thou away. Ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say, love your enemies, Bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which do spitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father, for which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. But if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? And if ye salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Amen. So he wrote the Beatitudes because this is saying that you have my peace when you do these things. The attitude of having a humble heart and a love toward your fellow man. Okay, when I come back, I'm going to read to you Matthew 24 and Matthew 25. And then I'm going to read to you some excerpts from John. And then we're going to go right into Revelations. Basically, it's history in the beginning because it tells about the 7 churches of Asia Minor that existed, but now they are no more. They are just like a skeleton of a church or something sitting there, but all of those churches don't exist anymore. They do have a synagogue over there, but it was established later because their temple was messed up during a war back during the Babylonian Empire. But the same thing is getting ready to go on now again. So I'll talk to you some more about it when we get deeper into Revelations. But I'm going to take a break. I just want you to know that Jesus established the churches. When the church age came about, he gathered up all his disciples and he said, "This is my church, these whom I love." And they went with him and they followed him and they kept on until the church was established. So I'll talk to you some more about it. Have a good night.